to the mustacheandthebeard.com.
Two great geeks changing the world, one bing, bing, bing post at a time.
Hello everyone, my name is Sheriff Medalla.
Yes it is.
And otherwise known as the Mustache, and also Louis Matos is for reals. And we're here doing our essential movies for the Cinephile video. This will be Campy number 12, and I'm here with my best buddy as usual,
Marshall Corona. Actually, Junior Figueroa, aka The Beard, coming to you live from sunny Puerto Rico, where the Coronas and the Medallas are always chill. We're happy to be with y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all.
So yeah, we're excited.
Yes, as
enervated,
always. Enervated.
Enthralled. And engaged.
And irrational.
You're irrational. Classic Archived Motion Picture Yearbook. You are here for our next entries into our classic video library.
That's right. Classics, baby. These are classics.
All right, and as always, we always have criteria for what our campies are, so that you can understand why they're included in our classic video library.
So what's the first criteria?
The first criteria is that both the Mustache and the Beard must agree on every entry.
That's right. That's right. If one of us says no, then it's a no.
Yeah.
And believe me, that there have been movies that you would be surprised that have not made it. We are particular.
Yes. And also we have other criteria for defining a classic.
For example, longevity.
Yes, there's a time component.
The time component, 50 years. So it has to be prior to 1971. 71 is the cutoff. Because, I mean, how many are you going to call something a classic if it hasn't been around long enough to become a classic? This thing, a modern classic, get out of here. Get out of town. Right out of town.
Yeah, we'll wait and then we'll determine whether it's classic. So 50 years.
50 years.
Also exceptionalism.
Yes, it has to be exceptional in some way.
Yes, subjective way. We
Right,
will argue that.
Yeah, we're not saying that it has to be that a lot of money was spent. It doesn't have to be big budget. It doesn't have to be widescreen. It doesn't have to be,
In fact, the movies for today are all low budget.
Yes, but in some way they had a je ne sais quoi. In some way it had a quality that when you finish watching the movie, you leave the theater saying, wow. And you leave the theater thinking about it. And you leave the theater talking about it. And it stays with you. That's magic. It's got to have magic. And that it could be, indies have magic, low-budget movies have magic.
You made je ne sais quoi, I say. Let's have a third criteria for determining a classic.
Which is?
Paradigm shift.
Paradigm shift.
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. No, movie making was altered in some way. And we will also communicate that. Now, sometimes, yes, we stretch it. So what? It's our library.
It's our video. It's my party, and I'll do what I want.
Yeah, but most people would agree. Genre classification, we talk about that all the time.
Yes, and it's one of our grand pet peeves. We do not like how Hollywood classifies movies. Not at all.
And in every post, we always argue, this is what we call this movie.
Whatever,
Either it's called a horror comedy, but it is a comedy horror.
It's called a spoof, but it's not spoofing anything. Sometimes you wonder, it seems like if the person classifying the movie, did they ever watch the movie?
Yeah, I know. And as always, our listings are listed in chronological order for this video.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's not from best to worst or worst to best.
We're not making a judgment in terms of how it's presented.
Yeah, we just love them all.
Yeah.
So today it's our 12th class, and they're all Westerns.
All Westerns. In fact, aren't we doing
We're doing a trilogy.
We're doing a trilogy. I wanted to let you.
I wasn't even going to say trilogy until the second movie, but we're going to treat every movie as its own,
right?
And then we'll tell you about the whole thing.
Okay.
These are all recommendations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we reserve the right to give you a rating because we do that all the time.
We reserve the right to critique.
Yes. So moving right along, we start with our movie number 38, A Fistful of Dollars, 1964.
A Fistful of Dollars.
Yes, it's distributed by Unitis, an Italian company, and all three of these movies are available on Amazon Prime. You have to pay for them though. But this one is 99 minutes long. A Fistful of Dollars is a 1964 spaghetti western directed by Sergio Leone, starring Clint Eastwood in his first role as leading man. The film is an international co-production. $200,000 was spent, which is very low budget. Filmed in Spain with most of the crew being of Italian descent. Hence the derogatory term spaghetti western. Unofficially, it is based on Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo.
Yojimbo!
Another samurai movie, much like The Seven Samurai. And it's by Akira Kurosawa as well.
And stars Toshiro Mifune.
So this movie is the first of a trilogy referred to as the Dollars Trilogy or the Man with No Name Trilogy. More later on those other films. An unnamed broke stranger arrives in a town called San Miguel to find that this town is controlled by two corrupt families and decides that he can make some money in this place.
Get 3 coffins ready.
Listen, stranger, we don't like to see bad boys like you in town.
My mistake. 4 coffins.
So the genre classification is a Western. Longevity, 2021, takeaway 1964. It is 57 years old, and so it fits in with our criteria.
Right.
But we can start with exceptionalism. You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to start with exceptionalism. Take
Okay.
it away.
Considering how few dollars were spent on A Fistful of Dollars, the movie is beautiful. The movie it's well written, it's well acted, it's well paced. Granted that a lot of this comes from the fact that it's based on Yojimbo, and some of the scenes are taken like straight out of the Japanese movie. But still, it's a wonderful movie. It's different. It's live. It's kinetic. You care about the characters, which is really a big thing. So in every way, although the reality is that not much money was spent on it, it doesn't show. It's not cheap. It's not shoddy. It's not thrown together. It's obviously a labor of love. What do you think?
I would say, before anything else, the amazing music.
Oh, yes.
That became iconic because
Ennio Morricone.
Yes, Ennio Morricone uses solo guitars in certain places.
Yes.
Then choirs start to sing.
Yes.
Then you have little strings. You have even a kazoo. I mean,
nothing like in a traditional Western. Nothing. The music is completely different.
It's weird, yes.
Yes.
You have the snapping of fingers that he uses, the whistling, the vocalizing, the piano, the organ, the banjos, the harmonicas. They all are, and all, it's silent, and then all of a sudden, wah, wah, wah. I mean, like, and then like you'll then in certain places he'll do the prelude that is and you're waiting for the answering thing, and it's not coming. It's silent, and then all of a sudden, the flourish comes in,
which makes the music almost like a character in the movie.
All right, so the movie is rated R. It is violent, but largely bloodless for a violent movie. They don't really show a lot of blood. Clint Eastwood has a stony glare that he perfected for this role, and after that, it's like, where's his glare? Oh, there it is. That became a thing for him. We also had some iconic characters that became like archetypes. For instance, the helpful saloon keeper.
Right.
And the coffin maker in this movie is different from in every other movie. He's the stone-faced, staid, silent, and here in this one, he's a joker.
He's the comic relief. The coffin maker.
And he's very
the Undertaker is the comic relief.
Yes. Paradigm shift.
Well, although technically this is not the first spaghetti western, in the sense that Italian cinema has done westerns prior to this, but they had only done westerns for themselves. This is the first western that had an international market, that had an international release. So therefore it is credited as being the first spaghetti western. So in that respect, that's a paradigm shift right there, because we got hit, based on the popularity of this movie, we got hit by a deluge of spaghetti westerns after this.
Yes, of course, and it's of course the first of a trilogy, so
Yeah.
immediately is the paradigm shift right there. Then it's one of those that is extremely low budget for what is on screen. You're talking about the music alone, that they spent such little bit of money on that. That's great. And Clint Eastwood worked for $15,000. I mean,
well, this was his breakout role. Prior to this, Clint Eastwood was known as a TV star. He had starred in Rawhide for a lot of years, right? As he had started in Rawhide as the second lead, and then when Eric Fleming passed away, he became the primary lead on the show. And he did countless guest stars, Bonanza, Maverick, you name it. But he wanted to break out of that. And he says that the reason why he took this part was because the character was an anti-hero. He wasn't squeaky clean. He was tired of playing squeaky clean characters, and he was looking forward to playing something a little dirtier. And so that's why he was willing to do it for this money. And the gamble paid off. This was his breakout role.
yeah, he became a bona fide star after this.
And with this movie.
Rating.
Well, we're both recommending it, right?
Yes.
Do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I'm going to give it 4.5 Grey Geeks. And I'm taking away one Grey Geek simply because... Half a Grey Geek. Simply because they ripped off your Jimbo. Now, the reason why I say rip off is, unlike with Magnificent Seven, is in Magnificent Seven they credited Kurosawa and the Seven Samurai. In this movie they did not, and they got sued.
Yeah, they got sued and they lost.
And they lost, yes. So for being naughty and ripping off your Jimbo, I'm taking away half a Grey Geek. So I give it 4.5 Grey Geek.
Okay, the bad guys are worthy of hate in this video, in this movie. They show you them being bad. One of the bad guys beats up a little kid. The woman is stolen from her husband
Okay, kept as
and
a
kept
prisoner.
as a waiting on them and everything. Who knows if they raped her? We get the sense that
Yes,
she was.
must have been.
They wipe out a Mexican border patrol and a Union cavalry soldier. So this movie they show the bad guys.
They wipe out the rival family.
Yeah, so the bad guys are bad guys in this movie and totally bad. I agree that yes, they did steal the whole thing with Yojimbo, and that was wrong for them for Sergio Leone not crediting. But I love this movie, so I'm giving it 5 grade geeks. So 5 grade geeks for this first one. It is with great pride and respect that we induct A Fistful of Dollars as our movie number 38 into the Mustache and the Beard's Classic Video Library, Classic Archived Motion Picture Yearbook. Take a bow. Movie number 39, For a Few Dollars More, 1965.
For a few dollars more.
For a Few Dollars More is a spaghetti western directed by Sergio Leone, starring Clint Eastwood and now Lee Van Cleef as bounty hunters, and Gian Maria Volante, the primary villain from the first movie, is also the villain in this movie, playing a different character.
Yeah, it's not the same character.
The film is an international... Oh, and also Klaus Kinski is in this movie as well. He's the Hunchback. The film is an international co-production between Italy, Spain, West Germany. Outdoor scenes are filmed in Spain, but the indoor scenes are filmed in Rome. And it is the second movie in the Dollars trilogy, produced by Produzione Europei Associati, it's distributed by United Artists when it came over here in England. 2 bounty hunters with the same intention decide to team up to track down a Western outlaw and his gang.
Where is he?
All that for a few dollars more.
The genre classification is Western. Longevity is 2021, take away 1965. It's 56 years. It is definitely eligible to be called a classic for the Mustache and the Beard's Classic Video Library.
Yay!
Exceptionalism.
You go.
Okay.
I did exceptionalism first.
That's the iconic music. It's
Again.
Yes.
Ennio Morricone.
Yes. Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef, both of them together in this movie. You get superior acting.
And there's a chemistry.
Yes.
There's a chemistry between the two of them. They play well together.
Gian Maria Volante is an exceptionally depraved villain. We hear him order the execution of a mother and her newborn. And you hear the shots fired and the father reaction, the reaction shot. And then he tells the father, draw. So the father hears the death of his wife and his child, and then gets killed as well. He's a rapist because he has flashbacks of when he did a naughty thing. He kills the woman and then rapes her on her bed. The action is bigger than in the first movie. Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah, it is a bigger movie.
Yes, Lee Van Cleef adds an extra dimension to this movie that the other one doesn't have. Having extra star power, you do kind of feel the boom, boom, boom chemistry on screen, which is fabulous. And so I call it brilliant. So,
And he plays a different character. Not what the Lee Van Cleef that we become used to and later. His character in this one is quieter and more sophisticated, which is we're not used to that with Lee Van Cleef. So it's a very interesting role for him to play.
He's definitely a mature bounty hunter as well. But go ahead. What do you think of the exceptionalism?
Yes, yeah. The movie is bigger. In every way, it is bigger.
It's longer too. It's
longer.
2 hours.
It's wider. It has more plot. It has more characters. It's bigger in every way, and it's better. Not because it's bigger, but they managed to. It's one of those few times where that I think where the sequel is actually better than the original, or at the very least as good as the original. So yeah, I think it's exceptional.
Yeah, I saw this movie with my dad, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, "Look, Dad, look what he's doing," and just drawing his attention to listen to the music now. You hear, the iconic whistling. I mean, whistling. It's as part of the music.
And this one, that tune, the music box tune that's always that has to do with the backstory from the watch and everything. The music really plays. It's a plot element in this story.
Paradigm shift. Up until this movie, the bounty hunter as a profession, you had mentioned that, was widely regarded in a negative light. This movie adds honor and integrity to the profession, despite the cheating that seems to go on sometimes between, you tell me to go north, I'm going to go south. And
there's a one-upmanship. They start out trying to one-up you, because then they're rival bounty hunters. They don't come together until later on in the movie. But even that one-upmanship isn't nasty.
Mean? No.
It's not mean. It's not nasty. So
yeah, I knew you were going to go left when I told you to go right.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Lee Van Cleef is a mature character, so he's older, wiser.
Smokes a pipe, dresses nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's a colonel.
Yes, and his backstory is absolutely a reveal at the end, so we don't want to spoil that. Right. But it is absolutely perfect. It's perfect,
and it's essential. His backstory is essential to the plot of the story. So yeah, I think that's a paradigm shift, right? I think that's a major paradigm shift that the bounty hunter, prior to this movie, the bounty hunter was thought of something that's negative,
they were
like a banker, like a banker, the bad guy. But with this movie, the bounty hunter becomes noble, and from then on, we have a lot of movies where the bounty hunter, where the hero, the noble hero, is a bounty hunter.
All right, I'm going to give 5 Great Geeks again because this is a fun movie for me with memorable characters. I love the Lee Van Cleef character. I can't tell you how much I love this character.
Yeah.
The iconic music. Just, again, I'm watching this with my dad and I'm like, do you hear that, Dad? That's a kazoo. I mean, when have you heard kazoo and then an orchestra comes in and you're like, it's so not your typical thing. So yeah, overall classic, worthy of a place in our video library is what I say 5 Great Geeks.
Right, and I have to agree with you because I think this one was better than Fistful of Dollars, although the Fistful of Dollars is a great movie. I think this one's a little bit better. And if I gave the other one 4.5, better means that I got to give it 5. So I agree with you. 5 Great Geeks.
Awesome. Okay, so then it is with great pride and respect that we induct for a few dollars more 1965 as our movie number 39 into the Mustache and the Beard's Classic Video Library, Classic Archived Motion Picture Yearbook. Take a bow. Number 40,
Big 4-0.
And you know, it's got to be the last of the trilogy, which is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966.
Yay!
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is an epic Italian spaghetti western directed by Sergio Leone, starring Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and Eli Wallach.
Eli Wallach, we know from The Magnificent Seven, where he played a Mexican bandit, and then in this movie, what a stretch! He plays a Mexican bandit.
Tonino Deli Cola is the cinematographer. He was responsible for the sweeping widescreen vistas that are included in this movie. The other two movies are more in town, so it's not like you get like these sweeping vistas, whereas in this one, it is definitely essential because they travel all over the place. And Ennio Morricone composed the iconic score, which is, again, repeating the same instruments that are being used.
Yeah, but this one, became so world famous.
Yes.
The score became so world famous.
It was an international production led by Italy, Spain, West Germany, and this time the United States. Is included. It is the third and final installment of the Dollars trilogy. The film has the three title characters pursuing $20,000 in gold buried in a cemetery amidst the backdrop of the Civil War. So this is considered an anti-war film, which is good.
It's considered a Civil War movie,
Uh-huh.
which is good. It is also a prequel. This movie actually takes place before Fistful of Dollars. And we see, for example, we see Clint Eastwood's character, referred to as the man with no name. We see how in the first two movies he has a poncho. He's known for wearing that poncho. In this movie, we see him get the poncho.
Yeah. Okay. Genre classification is a Western. Longevity, it's 2021, take away 1966, so that's 55 years. So it definitely fits into our classic definition. Exceptionalism.
Well, we had the Fistful of Dollars, which was a good little movie. We talked about how for a few dollars more was bigger, the bigger movie, bigger in time, bigger in budget, bigger in cast. Well, now we come to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and it is an epic. This is an epic movie.
3 hours long.
3 hours long, huge cast, Civil War scenes. They're all over the place. They travel all over the place. This is an epic in every sense of the word.
$1.5 million budget.
Yes, and it's huge. It's a huge movie, big movie. So you know, it was exceptional. It's an exceptionally big movie.
It's widely considered the best of the spaghetti westerns, and Time has it listed in the top 100 movies of the last century. Quentin Tarantino called it the best directed film of all time and the greatest achievement in the history of cinema. I remember telling my boys that this is a rite of passage movie where, you know, all men have to see this movie. Variety, classic, FM, Premiere, these magazines all had the film selected for as top in the top 100 of all of their lists. Thank you. It was the Film Institute has this movie selected for preservation as a movie that is culturally, artistically, or visually significant. So yes, this movie. We're not the only ones that think this is a great movie. All right, so that's all I have. So you want to talk about paradigm shift? Or do you have anything else to say?
Well, individually, as far as paradigm shift is concerned, individually, this movie led to other trilogies. For example, Eli Wallach as Tuco was so popular in this movie that he has his own spaghetti western trilogy, which is Ace High. I forgot the name of the other two.
Oh yeah, I forgot them too. I didn't write them down.
God Forgives, I Don't.
I Don't. Uh-huh.
God Forgives, I Don't. Ace High, and the other one, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But the fact that because of this movie, we got that trilogy is a paradigm shift.
Yes. Reservoir Dogs, which is a Tarantino, he says he was inspired by this movie. So Quentin Tarantino was inspired by this movie to make Reservoir Dogs.
That's a paradigm shift right there.
And a host of other movies where going after the treasure is the MacGuffin.
Right.
So.
And trios. The fact that all of a sudden now you started getting the three characters, like in effect Sergio Leone ripped off himself, because in his Once Upon a Time in America you've got Henry Fonda, Charles Bronson, Jason Bogart, another trio. Similar to the one from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay, so we're going to do our rating. You want to give your rating? Start off.
What can I say? The movie is great. I got to give it 5 Grey Geeks. And if I could give it higher, I would give it higher.
Yeah, I say 5 Grey Geeks as well. It is all the things I've said about this movie. It is epic. It is long, but it is also, you see on screen all these things happening, and you're like, oh my God, this movie is huge. The vistas are gorgeous. The cinematography is amazing. The acting is top notch. You get, growls, and you get a lot of violence. There's some killing here that you're like, what the, wow, I didn't expect that to happen.
No,
the killing with a brick,
and the fights. The fights are brutal. Eye gouging, and the fights are absolutely heart-wrenching.
All right, so from both of us, it is 5 Great Geeks and worthy of being in our classic video library. It is with great pride and respect that we induct The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly 1966 as our movie number 40 into the Mustache and the Beard's classic video library, classic archived motion picture yearbook. Take a bow. This movie is definitely worthy. All right, so it comes time we come to the end of our video.
Right.
And I usually ask you for a wise missive, so please do so. Give us a wise missive.
Okay.
Let us end off.
This one's coming from me. People always say that respect is something that you have to earn, that it's not freely given. And I'm afraid that I'm going to have to disagree with that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Respect is not something that you have to earn. So respect is freely given. I'm waiting in front of a bus stop, waiting for the bus, and next to me is an older gentleman. The bus comes, opens the doors, and I allow the older gentleman to go on ahead of me. And he looks at me, he smiles, and he says, "Thank you." I showed him respect. He showed me respect back. I don't know him. We're complete strangers to each other. And yet, I afforded him respect and he afforded me respect, because respect is freely given. You respect people on the street. You respect strangers that you don't know. You treat people with respect. They haven't had the opportunity to earn it, and they probably never will. But you give them the respect anyway. Respect is freely given. However, God help you if you should make me lose my respect for you. Because then you're going to have to move heaven and earth in order to get it back.
With that having been said, we do these videos and we enjoy doing them. If you have not subscribed, please do so.
Yes.
If you'd like to make a comment,
Yes,
also
please
do
do
that.
that.
Also, please put a like on the video if you have liked our video. This is what we do on a regular basis. Please check out
We do
our
this because
website.
we love you.
Please check out our website. My name is Louis Matos. I am the Mustache.
I'm Junior Figueroa. I beat the beard.
We say, see you later.
Hasta la vista.
Thank you for watching.
And peace.